Now open the License Commission meeting. First order is approval of the minutes of September 21st, 26th, October 3rd, October 19th, October 28th, and November 17th. Is there a motion on the table to accept, approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Great, thank you. Item number one is Uno Restaurants LLC doing business as Uno Chicago Grill. So there's an application for a change of manager. Okay, and we'll table that for now. Item number two is also Uno's, we'll table that. Item number three is Five Star Market, Inc. This is an application for a common victualer's license.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Richard Vigliotti, 385 Broadway. I represent the applicant, Nerman. I'll call him Nerman H. because I can't pronounce his last name. But the reason for the change of manager situation is at Five Star Market, they serve coffee, and the common victualler license is required for the serving of coffee. There are no prepared foods. There are no foods cooked on site. It's all prepared foods. They have, according to the seating plan, a few seats for customers. So we're asking for the approval of the change of manager.
Great, and Councilor, is there an increase to the seats at the location?
Mr. Chairman, no, there are not.
They're not, okay. And what about change of hours? Does change of hours remain the same as well?
Hours remain the same, yes.
Okay, great. I don't have any questions.
And of course, we've had the approval by the,
I'm sorry?
we've had approval from the,
And then special,
Has it? All the approvals,
Yes.
I haven't had a chance to go over this one. Okay, so all the sign-offs, we have them all.
Special services.
And this will be just coffee. Now, the seating, you're applying for 10 seats.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You're applying for 10 seats. There's no seats there now? Is there seating there now?
There is seating there now. There has been seating there.
Where is this on Broadway? Is this the old ice cream shop? What is it?
This is right by,
just past the
no, it's right by Malden Street, that convenience store there.
So you're just going to serve coffee? That's it?
I'm sorry?
They're only going to serve coffee?
Yes, only coffee.
10 seats for coffee? Is there entertainment?
No,
I mean,
no.
are they going to play cards? Are they going to just coffee? Nothing else is going on there?
Maybe do the crossword puzzle while they're drinking their coffee, but that's about it.
Interesting.
Any questions? Or
No?
I have no other questions.
are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I'll put it up for a vote. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
very much.
Item number 4, Pizza Days, Inc., 55 American Legion Highway. This is an application for transfer of a common victualer's license. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Hakkı Dengizi, 55 American Legion Highway.
Great, and you're the,
I'm the president and owner
of the
of Pizza
president?
Days Inc., yes.
Okay, you're the president owner. Now you're transferring this to another party?
No, I took over from the other party.
The prior
It's Pizza
party?
Days Boys to Pizza Days right now.
Okay,
February 1st, we did the transaction.
right, and this is,
It's the same concept,
okay, so you're going to continue to do pizza,
correct.
and the hours are the same, 11 a.m. to, actually, this is to 3 a.m., is that correct?
Yeah, we would like to extend it until 3 a.m.
Okay.
I have two more location.
I'm sorry?
I have two more location in Medford and Alston.
Okay.
They open till 3 a.m. We serve in all the hotels, most of delivery.
Okay. That's the application.
Have all the personal taxes been
I don't know the answer to that, but my question would be, are they the owner of the building? Do you currently own the building now?
Not building.
So you're just a tenant at the building?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Were you a tenant before?
Here, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
And we have all the sign-offs from the inspectional services.
Yes, yes, we do. And you say you have three stores now?
Yes, Medford, 364 Boston Avenue, open till 3 a.m. Alston, 111 Brighton Avenue, open till 3 a.m. We
Okay.
have all license. We
And are these takeout?
take out mostly, like a Domino's style. Same concept. 55 American Legion Highway used to be Papa John's, I believe.
Yeah.
We didn't change anything because my background coming from the Domino's, 15 years ago, I opened my own company, it's called Pizza Days. So I'm here now in front of you, getting the permit
Okay.
to run the business.
Great. I don't have any other
And was Papa John's have a license till 3 o'clock at that same location?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not the next,
Yeah, he's applying for 3
Yes.
and under the current,
there's no residential area around me, just a plaza.
yeah,
So yeah.
I'm okay with it. I don't necessarily have a problem with that.
And we have 17 hotels. They keep calling us.
Okay.
And this is takeout only till 3 o'clock,
There's no seating anyway.
no.
No, there's no, we don't have a
Only
seat
takeout.
anyway. Just a waiting area, couple high chairs. So I know what I do almost 15 years. I deal with the late night deliveries. It's very, very important,
Yep.
people coming
But
from.
you're saying you have high chairs. Does anyone come in and eat the pizza?
The waiting area, there's 3 high chairs, that's it, if they want to sit. But I don't have to keep it, or late night, we don't have to.
But you
open
don't
the door.
serve any food. That's just for the convenience of sitting there while they're waiting for the pizza.
Just waiting area,
Yeah,
there's nothing else, because there's no room, like
yeah, it's pretty
maybe
small.
10 by 5 maximum.
Okay.
And that no walking, nobody walk around anyway, just they come to pick it up.
Because I'm one that is not in favor of 3 o'clock closings. So that's why I'm questioning. Takeout only.
Take out only,
Okay,
there's no
but
seating.
If they come in and they sit till 3 o'clock, I would be in
No,
favor.
there's no seating, just a waiting area,
So, okay, and what time do you let them in till? You still let them in till 3 o'clock to sit and wait?
We don't have to. Usually, I lock the door 1. We have a security door, it's called magnet door. So if the driver's coming in, they punch the number, we open the door. But, the summertime is, I'm new here, I don't know, but I keep the security very tight. So I want to do everybody safe, if you're concerned about that.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about, I've never voted for anyone to be open for people to come in and sit and eat at 3 o'clock. But a takeout at 3 o'clock, I'm fine with.
Takeout,
So,
I'm talking about, there's no seating, just
As long
takeout.
as they don't come in.
No, takeout. Takeout and delivery.
What time does Kelly stay open till?
It's a different
No, it's not. It's
place. They
takeout.
eat outside.
It's takeout.
They do not enter the
Yeah,
building.
but Nani's
Commissioner.
has a couple of seats, and that's all takeout. The people sit while they wait for their pizza.
Right, but not 3 o'clock in the morning, they don't.
Well, they
want to
could
sit.
if they wanted to, but I don't think the time matters, whether you're
Well, I
a couple of
guess,
seats, 1 or 3.
Obviously, a little difference of opinion on the board. I wouldn't be for 3 o'clock indoor seating. I guess my colleagues would be if it came up.
I mean, if a takeout, I don't, for the convenience of sitting there, if that's acceptable.
It's take
it would
5
be
minutes.
acceptable to me.
if you order the pizza, it takes 5 minutes. So if they order the phone orders, just they take the pizzas, they leave.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. If you want me to move the chair, I can move the chair. They don't have to sit, just they wait a couple minutes or 5 minutes, they have to wait.
If it's takeout only, I'm okay with it.
Take out only.
But
I promise
now,
that.
hear from my colleagues, they may have something else to say.
My business is 80% of delivery. So nobody wants to come to the store, usually get the pizza 3 a.m. You know, most delivery, very, very important. Like,
I'm okay with that. I don't see a problem with it myself. But
I'm fine with having this.
you haven't had any issues at any other location?
not at all. You can ask, I've
Okay.
worked with the police and, I keep eye on that everything. And I'm with, everybody knows me in the Medford, Alston, Boston area.
So how much time are you going to spend at this location going forward?
Usually like 30 hours,
30 hours?
yeah, 30 hours. We open late. We don't open lunchtime. We open 4 o'clock. So I create a different time zone for the people, they can order pizza. So if I don't have a lunch business at all.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Try to get some money from other hours.
The water and sewer payments are up to date, right?
So
Say again?
All the utilities are up to date, the water, sewer
ask him about it.
payments, because I'm looking at an email, it says, there's a little, Maggie, they owe 400, this dated March 7th, which was last week. They owe $400 on their water and sewer,
March
they're
7th.
not-
We didn't
but
receive.
they're not on the hook for that, right?
They're not the current owner. All he is a
Correct.
tenant.
All right,
So why would you hold the tenant responsible for something he's not responsible for?
because it's in the notes.
Yeah, I know, but my feeling is that if you have something that's out of control of the tenant, why would you hold
Well,
them
sometimes the
accountable to
tenants
it?
sometimes the tenants do pay for their own water and sewer.
Do you pay for the water and sewer?
No,
Okay. Okay.
the landlord.
Great. Thank
They
you.
bill us to how much it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, my point is that, you can't make somebody responsible for something they're not responsible to pay,
I can ask him.
so.
And,
No, you don't need to do that at all.
No.
And I do agree with you, Commissioner's correct. But there are cases where you do pay the water and sewer in the lease.
That's right.
So I guess that's what we're trying to clear up. You do not have that in your lease, that you're responsible
No,
for water or
he-
taxes. So then you would be okay with that.
Okay, thank you.
But there are leases that do.
I understand. Okay, yes.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Other questions?
Nope, nope.
Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the license. Is there a second to that motion?
I'm going to second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Item number 5 is Shirley Investments LLC. This is an application for transfer of a lodging house license. Please
Good
state your name
afternoon.
and address for the record, please.
Jamie Russo on behalf of Shirley Investments, 72 Squire Road in Revere.
Great, thank you. Can you tell us exactly what you're planning to do? And I know you're transferring the license, obviously, but some of the things that you're planning to do going forward.
Yeah, the building is, it's a long-time rooming house in the neighborhood. We own and operate some other buildings in the neighborhood as well, none of which are rooming houses, mainly rental properties, multifamilies, et cetera. Manage a bunch more also in the neighborhood. Our plan is to go in, renovate the property, at some point convert it back to an apartment building. That's our plan. We think there's going to be some challenges to that, so I mean, I'd allow for some latitude for some time to do that, but
Yeah.
ultimately, that would be the play. I mean, we're not, we manage close to 600 units. We're not in the rooming house business per se, so In the short term, it's going to remain a rooming house. We've had some preliminary conversations with some of the tenants there who really don't agree with our plans, but it's just evolution, hopefully, for the neighborhood. And with all due respect to the former owner who is here, if you have any questions for him, the buildings, we believe that its best days are ahead of them, certainly not.
And I'm not asking you to pressure you into one
Sure.
way or another. I'm just, for public information, just want to know
Yeah,
some sense
preliminary,
of what your plans are. I
that's
mean,
the plan.
Obviously, you run your business the way you want to run it,
Sure,
obviously.
sure.
I'm just trying to get an overall sense for what you're doing.
Yeah, it will remain as it is while we sort of transition to kind of, go in, stabilize some of the tenants there that are really good, decent, honest paying tenants. And like a lot of buildings that have some challenges, there are some tenants that we hope, or I should say, we would like not to see remain. But again, those are business decisions of which we'll deal with, hopefully, going forward.
Great. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Are you going to put any commercial in there at all?
Yes, there is 2 commercial units currently on the first floor that are operating now. As I've said, there are some plans for that neighborhood, and speaking with community development and some other things that they have planned for that neighborhood. There are 2 neighborhood businesses there now, which will probably remain there, again, for the short term until we figure out what exactly the neighborhood will welcome. We have no plans of throwing the commercial tenants out, or at this point, we're going to kind of leave them status quo until we figure out what, the market will sort of dictate what those units will be, and we will go from there once we decide, what we spend to renovate and et cetera.
So are you feeling that it still will stay commercial, but maybe in a different
Oh,
way?
the 2 commercial units will always remain commercial. We have no plans to convert those to residential. We feel strongly that the commercial component to the property will remain that way for the foreseeable future.
My other question is, I know you have an agreement, or the previous owner had an agreement with the Elks for a dumpster. Is that agreement going to?
I'm not, we've talked about that. We've since had an instrument survey completed, and he actually owns the land behind that where the dumpster's being housed actually goes with this property. So there's really no, I believe Mr. Rizzo's agreement was for access, which is probably not going to be required based on the instrument survey we have on the new updated plot plan. So that land where the dumpsters are being stored is part of this parcel.
Okay, so how do you get to the dumpster? Say I'm on Shirley Ave.
Yep.
That land there, who owns that land right on the Ave?
So the driveway, the larger portion of the driveway where the vehicle is being parked, I believe is owned by the Elks. There's a piece, do we have a plot plan with us, Karen? There is a piece
I'm
of,
just concerned how you get to, if that parking lot belongs with the Elks, how do you get to the dumpster? Is that where you have the agreement?
they have sort of an informal agreement, but the agreement's not necessary because there is access beyond, don't hold me to how many feet, but I think it's 5 or 6 feet. Do you have the email, Karen? Yeah, we have a current instrument survey, which, where the dumpsters currently sit on the rear of the property, that land is part of this parcel. So there's no need for an agreement with an abutter, because we have the space to house those dumpsters.
Okay, so, and can you access your property from Beach Street, Beach Road? Is there an opening there between the two pieces?
North Shore Road?
Not sure.
North Shore Road, yeah. Also on the side of North Shore Road, there is I'm not positive of the dimensions, but yes, this is not only on the North Shore Road side and the Shirley Ave side of the corner of the building, is the building on that part of the lot lines. Looking at the building, the left side on the North Shore Road side, there is a sliver of land that allows for access to go around the building, certainly not enough for a car or anything, and also the same on the rear of on the Shirley Ave side as well, the piece between the Elks and the subject property we're discussing.
Okay, that was my concern. I was just wondering if you're going to have to remove that dumpster, and then what happens?
If that were the case, which we're thankful it's not, we would have to live load trash daily, which we certainly don't want to do. That can become expensive. But again, I believe that's a non-issue,
Obviously,
Commissioner.
If you have that footage.
We do.
Then you'll be able to still be okay with that dumpster being parked there.
We do, and I can email that off to Maggie if you'd like to see that, if you want to see that piece of land.
I mean, you've got a good track record in terms of, quality of building.
Thank you.
Cleanliness and all of that, so, I mean, I don't really view that as an issue. I mean, if you look at any of your properties around the city, they're pretty nice, so.
Thank you, appreciate
Yes, they're
that.
very nice, that's why I'm questioning it, that we're going to do the same thing with this building here.
We're certainly going to try, Commissioner.
And I know there's no parking.
Yes.
So now, from what I'm hearing now is, are we making an area there residential on Dehone Street for these two developments that you're developing in that area?
What's the question? As far as Dehone goes, there is no parking there as well.
No, are they, maybe this is someone I would ask the parking, but I heard that they, is that going to be residential, Dehone Street, that island there where there's meters?
I'm not sure. I've spoken to the ward counselor. He's, prior to us even constructing Dehone Street, he had hoped to put some kind of a system in place that would help area residents and as well as deter long-term commuters, people that would be hopping on the train and going to town during the day. I spoke to Ira Novoselsky. He thinks that some kind of either a resident parking, some kind of a resident parking program or a couple of hour parking or something like that during business hours, which would deter commuters from getting on the train and parking their cars there. Haven't had a follow-up conversation with the councilor, but we do intend to before we start to rent the Dehone Street project.
Hopefully that works out. I mean, I think it would be great for both of your projects that are going on at the same time.
I would agree.
I spoke with the Ward 2 Council, and he is in favor of this project, which I think almost everybody is.
Sure.
In that area. And I know, as the Commissioner said, you do.
Certainly a challenging building. I mean,
It is very challenging.
don't define my legacy on this building, please.
I went down there again, and that's why I'm asking the questions, because, I would like to see the project go as you've done with several others, including on American Legion Highway.
Sure.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
And again, the council is in favor of this project, which I am, and hoping that you keep the commercial and we don't add more residential to the
No,
building.
commercial will remain.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Great.
Well, I hope it works out. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No question, just, I guess it's a move in the right direction. I'm sure Mr. Rizzo's had his times with this place, he has to move on. I'm sure he's had a lot of challenges. So, someone like you new, very familiar with the area, is going to be a positive thing for the city, for the area, especially for that ward. So, nothing but, hope for the best and good
Thank
luck.
you.
So, good
Thank you,
result.
Commissioner.
Seeing no other questions, are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 6 is Nilhar Enterprise, sorry?
You want to see the plot plan? Karen has it on her phone.
Let's see.
We're here.
Why not?
So this is the little setback here,
Okay, that's what,
and this is the motion little setback here.
so you've got access on both sides, should they change this?
And I'll send a copy of this along to Matt.
Great, thanks. Item number 6 is Nilhar Enterprises doing business as Woody's Liquors. This is an application for pledge of all alcohol package store license. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Attorney Lawrence Simeone, 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, representing Nilhar Enterprises. As the Commission is well aware, we filed a transfer application on December 1st to transfer the application of Woody's Enterprises, Inc. to Nilhar Enterprises. Consistent with that application was a purchase and sale for Woody's Liquors, Inc. To Nilhar Enterprises, which was done on October 27, 2016. At the time we filed the application, we had not selected what lender we were going to seek as far as the $800,000 purchase price. We have since engaged Rockland Trust. They've issued a commitment letter, which I attached to my February 28th, 2017 letter to the Commission, to the ABCC, along with having received from your commission that the license had been approved by the ABCC. So at this point, we're just asking to finish the project, if you will, by getting the finance pledged as requested in the letter from Rockland Trust that was sent to you back on February 27th. You should have received our pledge and our vote authorizing the pledge in the amount of $600,000 to Rockland Trust.
The February 23rd letter. Yep. Any questions from the commission?
Did we resolve this is the one that connects the two stores, Woody's, right? Has the pizza joint next to it?
The pizza joint the pizza joint.
Whatever.
Okay. All right, let's start again. The pizza store, after so much talk about pizza today, Pizza Parlor, yes, Commissioner, you're probably best. This belongs to Mr. Wood. I believe it is tenanted in that building which Mr. Wood owns, and we will have nothing to do with the pizza store.
So Mr. Wood is keeping that portion of the building?
He is. We're only buying the package store, and we're leasing from Mr. Wood as the owner of the store.
So
The owner of the
I think the question that you're alluding to is the door between the establishments, is that a fair statement?
It is, now that they're, different owners. Is that door still going to be an open access, or is it?
I believe the last time we had this diatribe, my clients stood before you and said, whatever the commission wants will be done.
Okay.
Closed, not closed, open. I don't think Mr. Patel sees any advantage having it open. But if the commission wants it open, we'll open. If the commission wants it closed, we'll close it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm indifferent to it.
I think that's where you were last time.
It
It
is,
was 2
it
to 1,
is.
so
And the reason for that is that, if he's closing, if they're closing it at whatever hours the two stores agree, then that would be fine by me. But if they're happy just closing it, I'm not going to clearly stand in the way of that. I mean,
I
that's
think
entirely up to, actually, it's up to my colleagues as
If
well.
the board asks for that as a condition of the license already granted,
That's my
again...
point. I mean, that's
but-
why.
But it's okay, we made the offer, and, the commission wants it. If Ms. Haney would be kind enough to just send me a letter that that's what the commission wants, and we'll make sure it happens.
Well, I think the last time we left it was that it was going to stay open until the pizza restaurant closed. That was my
That's the will of the
understanding.
commission, Mr. Patel.
Well, I mean, I think we've already voted on it. I don't think there's any point to vote on it again.
Well, I just think my opinion was, and I stay with my opinion was it was more child-friendly being closed. Kids come from school there, they walk up to their homes up on Broadway. So I would have been very happy with the door closed. Seeing it's two different leases now, and I think that Woody has gotten a lot of leeway here on what he's wanted to do. But that's up to
Again, I think Mr. Patel was very clear the last time we were before.
Correct.
We see no advantage of having the door open,
I don't either.
so
Council,
we'd be
so-
glad to close it.
Okay.
That's fine. That's entirely.
Let's close it up.
Okay,
All right?
very good. Any other questions? I mean, I don't really see anything to vote on at this point in time. I mean, this is just.
I think you have to approve the pledge.
Sorry?
I think you have
Well,
to approve the
yeah,
okay.
pledge.
Oh, that's true. You're right about that. Okay.
I'll
Is there a
make-
motion on the table
I'll
to
make a
approve?
motion to approve the pledge.
Is there a second? to the
I'll
motion?
second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board.
Killing me today. I'm sorry? Yeah. Yep, I don't care about him. All I care about is Patel. That's all I care, I don't care. I know, but I don't care about Woody, I mean, that's not my issue. Item number 7 is a hearing, Patsy's Inc., doing business as Renzo's Brick Oven Pizza. This is a hearing to address the unresolved inspection violations. Now, I understand that the fire inspector has been down there,
Yes,
and that not all the work's completed, but you're in the process of doing that now. Is that correct?
yes, did a walkthrough this morning, and the final thing he wanted was a completion of a U value for the porcelain tile.
And you've agreed to do that?
Yes,
So there isn't anything that you haven't agreed to from the deputy's position?
no.
Okay. I'll open up questions to my colleagues if they'd like.
Well, I guess it's just the one issue that I have, only because there's been complaints. And you said you're going to take care of it, is the wood that's out in the back.
Yeah,
And we're just waiting for what, the weather?
yeah, just the ability to remove the pile that is next to or to the left of the building.
Okay. I mean, reading this, you're complying with everything. I happened to drive by there just before I came to the meeting, and I see that Wayne Alarm is there doing their work.
Correct.
So that's the only problem I have, is if that wood is still out there and it is an eyesore to our residents in the back.
Yeah,
I would appreciate, as soon as weather permitting, that would be removed.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner LaCroy?
The only question, the infamous roof stack,
Yes,
it was done without a permit. So a permit needs to be obtained, so that's not even finished, right? Is that correct?
that is completed. The only thing that's left is to reinforce it with new turnbuckles.
They were there, that's what they were there today for. Am I correct?
Okay,
For Wayne Alarm?
No, for the stack today?
the smokestack.
Yes, the stack was completed. The turnbuckles are to reinforce it, even though it did survive the hurricane. It's still standing, and to my knowledge, the permit was pulled. In the previous email that I read, it said that all permits were pulled from Wayne Alarm and the building department. So I'll have to follow up and find out
Yeah.
why now there is no permit
Yeah,
there.
the email clearly states, it was dated like a half hour ago, that all this work was done without a permit, which means, in their eyes, it wasn't done, even though it might be finished from your eyes. So I guess the question, you have to, qualify that or verify that the permit is pulled and will, give us a check off, because right now, based on item 12, it says, a permit needs to be obtained from the building department for this work, including installation diagrams as to the installation method. So to me, that the stack is still not completed, based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point I'd like to make is that, what the deputy wants and the issues that are outstanding are really not up for debate. I mean, my feeling is that you've agreed to do it, you need to complete it. I mean, we're willing to extend it, the license a little bit further along to get you to the point where
Correct.
you get all the approvals. But as long as you're in agreement that, these issues that the inspectional services want are not up for debate is
Correct,
fine
and
for me.
I haven't argued any way
Okay,
along the way,
that's
just
fine.
completing it as
I just want to clarify that.
protocol.
Do you need a copy of this, or does he?
No, I think he knows,
Okay.
what he's got to do.
I did receive,
Okay, you did, okay.
yes, I was attached on that.
Just go through the process.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm good. So right now, we extended it to the license to this meeting. How much more time do you need to complete these items?
The first agenda is getting, I forget the proper term, but for someone to come and assess the porcelain tile that was put down to generate a U-value, whether that's a manufacturer's warranty or a fire inspector. So once that is completed, everything should be done. I don't know what a timetable is to determine the actual heat transfer value
All
for
right,
the tile.
I'm going to suggest that we extend it to the next meeting, and that way it'll give us an opportunity at that point in time to determine whether it's been done or not. If that's acceptable to
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine.
so
Yes.
you want to, I'll put that in
That would be
the
another
form of
motion.
a motion? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to, actually, before I do that, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none. I'll make a motion to extend the license to April, what day? April 19th? Okay, so we'll extend the license to April 19th for approval from Inspectional Services. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Council. Great. Sorry, did you want to,
No, we want to wait for renewal. He wants to speak on his tile renewal. So let's renew and then when we get.
oh, okay, got you. I got it. Sorry, my error. Communications, notice from the ABCC approving the application for transfer of all alcohol off-premises license to Neilhar Enterprises doing business as Woody's. Notice from the ABCC approving the application for a change of location of a Joseph Leon Matola Post 4524 VFW US to 61 Lucia Avenue. These are late renewals for 2017. There's a common victualer's license, La Esquina del Sabor, Uncle Nino's Restaurant, and the Delta Hellenic Company, doing business as Revere House of Pizza. Is there a motion? All in favor, say aye. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Also, an entertainment license for La Esquina del Sabor for, for an entertainment license. Is there a motion on the table to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
License for renewal for DVI 407 Squire Road LLC, doing business as 4 Points Boston Logan. Counselor, you speak on behalf of that establishment?
I'm not speaking on behalf of the establishment. I'm not sure if anyone's here to. I just wanted to inform this honorable body some of my recent interactions with the hotel, and I was hoping that as a license commission that you would be able to gain some clarity from the organization doing business in Revere, and just state some of my concerns. I certainly don't want to hold up a business's license. I understand how important that is, and I would imagine for the most part that the establishment operates really well. I've been there for functions through the Revere Chamber of Commerce and through fellow colleagues that have had hosted functions there, and I've even had some friends stay there. One of the more recent troubling issues that I've had is I had some very close friends of mine that happen to be residents of the city, residents of Ward 4, former coach for Revere High School, a paralegal in Boston, very well represented couple. And they were attempting to go on a date night. They have a young child, my child's age, and they have an older daughter that was watching their child. They wanted to go on a date night and go to a local establishment, have a few drinks, and not have to worry about going home. And they were attempting to get a room at the Sheraton 4 Points. Unfortunately, when they went to the front desk on I believe it was Saturday night in late February during February vacation, and it was either a Saturday or Friday. They attempted to get a room, and they were told they were not allowed to rent to Revere residents. And they were surprised by that. So, of course, they did call me, not that I'm the person that they should call, but being friends and a Ward 4 councilor, they contacted me to let me know, and they ended up driving up Route 1 and getting another hotel. And at that hotel, they were told from the front desk of the next hotel they went to that they had gotten several people coming up to that hotel with the same story. So what I did was just to do a little bit of digging in, I called the Sheridan Four Points and spoke to a wonderful supervisor named Edith. She was very nice over the phone, and I just said, this has to be a joke. Maybe my friends are maybe they're fabricating. And the woman, Edith, clarified it very well, and she said 100%, that's our policy. My manager, Michael, and I apologize for forgetting his last name, told us that we're not allowed to rent to anyone from Revere, specifically Revere East Boston, and she mentioned there was a 30-mile radius. And I said, okay, and she said, but we were really busy tonight, and we're told that if we feel we can use our discretion. And I said, so one of your front desk persons looked at this woman, and the discretion was she wasn't good enough to stay in the hotel. I don't want to point out the fact that it happens to be a mixed-race couple. I'm not sure if that played into it, but what it shows me is this policy this policy, if it is 100% the way that the front desk person explained it to me, leaves themselves open to huge amounts of discrimination. And even further, I did reach out to the License Commission. I believe Maggie, Ms. Haney, you had gotten some potential clarification. It's overwhelmingly discriminatory. And I don't work for the hotel company. I'm embarrassed to say that they potentially represent Revere as a business. And I would just ask that if we do grant them the license renewal, they would clarify this policy that is more sufficient and doesn't pose a risk for discrimination. I understand that they've had issues. I understand that there's been numerous calls to this hotel for alleged prostitution, alleged drug use, you name it. And I know that the new owner is potentially trying to clean this up. But I can tell you that that same weekend, with this new policy, they had numerous calls to the police department for alleged prostitution or drug issues or fights or arguments or whatever it may be. And I'm sure that the police records would show that. So their policy is, it's not clear. If they're going on based on what people look like, that's a big problem. If someone is under the influence or appears to be under the influence, I wholeheartedly expect that they would refuse service. Just like if you were a restaurateur and you didn't want to serve them alcohol, you would refuse service or ask them to leave the establishment. But they're going on a policy based on where someone lives and what they look like. That's not the way we should operate a business. So I would expect that this honorable body would clarify that and get something from them as far as a more standardized policy that protects them, but also protects the consumers. That a Revere family, or an established Revere couple, or even just a single person could go there and stay there because they want to get a night out.
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, there's no place for discrimination. You know, I have made reservations for colleagues of mine coming into town at that hotel, and have never been denied that. But you know, we're also happy to have them come in front of this body and you and address those concerns, because clearly they're important concerns. I mean, I recognize, you know, some of the hurdles they have to overcome, and quite honestly, I mean, you know, living here, you know, you want to make sure that you don't have that, you know, that stigma associated with your city or with any of the establishments here. So you know, I understand where they're coming from, but then there's certain ways of doing that, like you said, and we're happy to have them come in if
That's all I would ask. And like I said, I would imagine that 99% of the time they're spot on and they're doing a really good job. But it doesn't take much. And as we all know, you leave things up to personal judgment. You leave things up to policy leaves it up to sometimes the lowest common denominator in the establishment making a high-level decision. It could really upset some people, and it could put, you know, potentially, certainly their business at risk, and I can't imagine that their own company attorneys would allow this type of a policy. But it certainly could be a black eye on the face of a business in Revere that represents our city. And like you said, I've called there, I've gotten coworkers that have traveled from out of state, rooms there, rooms in other hotels in the area, and you know, I think they've always done a good job. I was dumbfounded And to be quite honest, I thought my friends were fabricating. I thought that they may have been exaggerating, and they were not at all. As a matter of fact, they're so humble about it, they just kind of moved on to the next hotel and said, I guess we'll never go there again. But I felt that this needed to go to a different level, in the sense that we should just have a conversation with them and help guide them in whatever way we can. So I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
I think that we really need a clarification, and I also would like to find out from the police department any records that they have as to it. And I'm sure they're trying to do the right thing, but you've got to do it the right way also.
Yes.
So I would be in favor of having a hearing, and let's hear their side of the story and what's going on, because this wouldn't be tolerated in the city of Revere to, deny Revere residents.
Or anybody for that
And
matter.
Anyone, and also, the other side of that too is I do like a five-star hotel in our area, and I like to see them do a good job.
Agreed. 30 miles is a very wide range. When you think about it, 30 miles will take you to the New Hampshire border. 30 miles takes you through Boston, down to the South Shore. So, I mean, I just think that they need a little bit of a conversation and guidance, and that would be...
Really, I personally have a lot of questions I'd like to clear up with them, so...
Great.
I think to call them in.
So, so why don't, did I catch you off? I'm sorry.
No.
So we're going to have them come before this board on the April 19th meeting, and we would hope that you would come along and state your concerns to them directly.
Thank you.
And certainly, if they want to, I know it's hard, if the people that were denied rooms, it would be great if they would want to come. And I understand,
Yep.
I don't want to be in a position either.
Thank you.
But,
Just out of my curiosity, did they say why they were denied? Was it said?
They were stated the very basic policy that they will not rent to residents
Okay.
within a 30-mile radius, specifically Revere, East Boston, Everett, Malden, Lynn, et cetera. But then again, on the follow-up, it was probably, they were given an ability to, the staff there was given the ability to make a judgment call, and they made a judgment that this couple wasn't good enough or didn't look the part. Now, they're very good friends of mine, and they're, like I said, well-established, a paralegal, works in a law firm, and former Revere basketball coach and a construction worker. I can only imagine what they looked like, but they were going out on a date night, and I just, yes, I made some internal jokes to them, and I assumed what they looked like, but that was probably just more personal and having some fun. But I don't think that they would have represented themselves poorly, and certainly didn't. I was with them earlier in the day. Certainly didn't go in there inebriated or in any shape or way, shape, or form. So, like I said, I get that when it comes down to if you're having a suspected, people that are under the influence or in rough shape, you want them on your property, may damage the property. I totally understand that.
But that's different from excluding Revere residents. I mean, that's unacceptable to me.
Yeah. You can't stay there.
No, I know.
Neither can I.
So,
Thank you.
okay, great, thank you.
Also, on this renewal, I don't know if we want to hold this renewal over till the next meeting, or do we want to...
Do we want to temporarily extend it so that they're at least operating under a license, and then make a decision
I think we have
at
to.
the time of the
Yeah, well, let's
19th?
keep the
we have
license
to.
until the
Okay.
19th, then.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to temporarily approve the license on a temporary basis until the owners have an opportunity to come in and speak about their practices on April 19th.
Well, before you do that, what if they can't make that date? Just
That's a
stuff
month away.
happens.
I don't
Well,
know.
stuff happens, right?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should.
Okay,
So
just in
license.
case. So what happens on the night, if they don't show up, we suspend the license?
Well, I would think they were...
That's a good question.
There's what ifs. You never
Well,
know.
I mean, I
Stuff happens.
think if, the license is important to them. So, I mean, I think, if you're going to continue to
Okay.
operate, you got to make it a point to be here, based off of,
Okay, so make that decision when the time comes.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll make that decision when the time comes. So we'll table that, sorry? Yeah, I know that, I would just, but I want to make sure I got the motion, so we're not adding anything to the motion. It's, we're going to temporarily extend the license to the April 19th meeting to give them an opportunity to address the concerns that Councilor Keefe has. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
The next meeting is.
And the next meeting is April 19th, so that's Wednesday. And are we leaving at 3 o'clock? Are we leaving the meeting at 3 o'clock, or are we now changing the time to 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Check the availability for us.
Okay. Okay, so the meeting right now is scheduled tentatively, not tentatively, it's scheduled for April 19th, the time to be determined. I'll make, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye.